If you can kindly just let us know, we're doing a bit of an audio test, audio check. If you can let me know through chat if you can hear us, that'll be amazing. We appreciate that. Great. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Barry. Excellent. Amalia, good morning. How are you too? Good.
Good morning, everyone. I'm doing really well, thank you. I hope everybody is as well.
So we're trying a new slide deck today, everyone. So please do bear with us as we kind of get used to the new format for our webinars. We're going to be trying something totally new today in regards to the slide decks, but we have a lot of different things happening in the coming weeks. We're going to have a guest speaker next week. Amalia will probably be sending out an emailing, also updating you in K2. But definitely, it's one of the directors at Soho, which is a CRM company that was also at a global convention. And I'm going to have Soho join us just to chat a little bit more about their solution, but also about, from a sales perspective, how to qualify clients that may be eligible for their specific online solutions regarding software, CRM software, etc. So Soho will be with us next week. So just letting you in advance, and then in the next coming weeks, we're gonna have at least 1 to 2 guest speakers per month. Some of them will be external to ALM. Others will be also within our ALM team, trying to get back here. Mr. Vinish Sandier, as well as Darren Edwards, our marketing manager. But again, these are things that are coming in the next few weeks, trying to keep our webinars educational as always, and exciting as in regards to topics that we will be discussing. One of the other things that we're looking at that creating is a panel with ICs that can share best business practices. So we're kind of working all in the background to keep you as informed as possible, and give you our best when it comes to the webinars, the Launchpad webinars. So we're gonna have our usual format, the latest news and articles. I will tell you it's a little bit of a very heavy informational packed webinar today. So sit tight, and hopefully, if we're not able to answer your questions during the webinar, we'll definitely get back to you throughout the day, or today or tomorrow. We'll try to get back to you in regards to answering those questions if we need to touch base with our technical team. So to begin, Amalia, I guess you're number one in regards to Google's Webmasters guidelines.
Yeah, for sure. This is the most recent article I came across. It says Google says repeated violations of their webmaster guidelines would lead to further action. So it says, do you spam Google over and over again? Google may decide to serve you harsher penalties and manual actions in the future. In a blog post written anonymously at the Google Webmaster blog, Google's search quality team has stated that if webmasters repeatedly violate the Google Webmaster guidelines and get caught, Google may actually take further action against the sites and or make a successful reconsideration process more difficult to achieve. Google is talking specifically about the manual actions. The penalties you see in Google Search Console issued manually by Google Search quality representatives. It is not talking about the algorithmic actions that happen automatically through algorithms such as Panda, Penguin, and other search quality algorithms. The example given by Google was, for example, a webmaster who received a manual action notification based on unnatural link to another site may not follow the link, submit a reconsideration request, then after successfully being reconsidered, delete the no-fall for the link. In these cases, a webmaster may see that it's harder to receive a successful reconsideration request, or he may see stiffer penalties on his site. Google has asked to comment about what specifically they mean by this further action, and basically they're still waiting for a response. However, it is suspected that it may mean that the site may no longer have it might have a longer time period to wait to get out a penalty, or the action may be extreme or de-indexing the whole site from Google. Again, that's all speculation, and they're still waiting for a response from Google. Did you want to add to that, Armando?
Yeah. Two things. Just as Amalia clarified, I mean, Google's really putting a bit of a stop on spammers, and what they're trying to do at this case, as policing the at least within Google search engine, is stop people from taking advantage of the system. So any penalization that they're talking about are here really manually. They're not talking about algorithmic standard penalization. They're talking about webmasters who get caught doing things that are somewhat black hat SEO, such as spammy link building, etc. Now, not only is Google number one giving them a manual action notification on the Google Search Console, but once the website's admin connects with Google, obviously they'll be given pretty much a timeout, if you will. So again, if you're managing websites right now, just try to keep them as clean as possible. Work with your production team to make sure that that maintains that cleanliness in regards to proactively using white hat SEO. Any questions, any gray areas that you have, do not engage or participate in those type of activities or SEO activities. And the last thing that we can say is that if you have been approached by a prospect who has recently been penalized by a manual action notification, be very careful. Study the prospect, study the prospect's website, what they're being penalized before you take them on board. Because as Amalia has mentioned, these penalization will take time. So repeated violations typically have to do with negative spammy link building that gets done by the webmasters. So that's one of the key things that they're really focusing on, and also obviously duplicate content or spammy content on the website. A lot of this stuff is really on-site negative SEO, where a webmaster will get caught and will be given a timeout. Uh, the thing here is that if you are inheriting a website that has these issues, you, you got to make sure that you do your due diligence, and also to educate the client, as it is beyond your hands or our hands to get them out of the penalty box, if you will. It's really up to Google to be able to get them out of this negative situation. So again, just be careful with your website, but most importantly, also in inheriting websites. Sometimes clients don't tell you; they just want to know if you are able to get them out of it, and they put a lot of pressure on the SEOs, the SEO consultant, or in our case, our consultants, and we have to make sure we educate them that if they have been given a manual action notification, it's going to take time, and this is something that it's in Google's hands, not our hands. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you. Amalia? Okay, I think actually, as a matter of fact, I think mine's the next one. Sorry, Amalia, mine's the next one. So the next thing that I wanted to share with you is that Bing is going to retire the Link Explorer tool within Bing Webmaster Tools on October 1st. If you recall, this product was launched a little while ago to replace the Yahoo Site Explorer. Now, this Link Explorer tool, it's only found within Bing Webmaster. Okay, and basically Bing has come out, and Dwayne Forrester, the senior product marketing manager at Bing, announced that the tool that is currently found within Bing Webmaster Tools will no longer be available after October 1st. Now, what was this tool usually for? Used in the past was, it really allowed SEOs or consultants or SEO experts to discover links for competitive backlink analysis. When it launched in 2012, definitely, was a big thing from Bing as it revitalized the Yahoo Site Explorer feature, which has shut down also in 2011. Uh, there are many reasons why the tool has been retired. One of the main reasons has to do with given the growth of Bing. Basically, the Webmaster's Tools team at Bing won't have access to run the queries they need to power the tool. So, partly, as they're saying, based on what we found out through Search Engine Land's article, is that the reason is being shut down is really more of a technical decision, not really necessarily a decision to do with lack of use or malpractice, but it's just that, what, the tool has or Bing has outgrown the tool, right? Now, to continue to get competitive link data, you'll definitely have to use the third-party link tools, and you won't be able to easily get this data from Bing or Google Webmaster Tools anymore. What this tool used to do, again, was help in competitive link building analysis to try to see what other sites were backlinking to your site. So again, just to let you know that this tool will be retiring as of October 1st, 2015. Okay, Amalia, you're next. Hello. So for some reason, we're having some technical challenges. Sorry about this. It seems that for some reason we were not able to hear Amalia and myself, but I'm back. Uh, yeah, I.
Sorry, forgive me. I've been having trouble with my headset and some technical difficulties on my end, as you know. Where have you guys left off? Sorry, Armando, did
Yeah, well,
you?
we're talking about the right to be forgotten, specifically with the French arguing they have the authority to
Yeah,
regulate Google globally, and that's something that the France's privacy regulator (CNIL) has been fighting with Google. And
exactly.
maybe you can share a little bit with us very quickly, because that was a.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try to pick up where I was. Basically, the French have threatened sanctions if Google's. Sorry if I sound repetitive, but I will repeat it just in case you did miss this. The French have threatened sanctions if Google fails to remove RTBF links from all of its domains globally. Why they say there is some legitimacy to the French and European arguments about RTBF circumvention. France is effectively trying to impose European law on the Google across the globe. It has been stated that from the point of view that French action is not only legally unjustified, it creates a dangerous precedent that other countries may try to follow in the effort to globally censor content that they don't like. Individual countries may try to use their own laws and pointing at the European example, argue that Google must comply globally on all domains and their domestic rules. For example, with the Chinese government trying to reach out globally and censor content about the Tiananmen Square massacre. That was one example used. But countries such as Russia, India, Pakistan, and other have laws that are effectively censorship of what they consider to be politically or culturally undesirable content. Empowering individual countries to regulate content globally is dangerous for obvious reasons. Google has rightly asserted that CNIL does not have the jurisdiction and authority to impose a global ban on disputed RTBF links. CNIL disagrees with the characterization and basically sees itself simply trying to enforce the law in France and Europe. However, while the French and European objectives with the RTBF are well intentioned and seek to find a balance between the public right to know and the individual privacy, it's not going to be true in other cases as indicated. Google's recourse to more appeals, it's possible that the case would wind up in front of the European Court of Justice in Luxembourg, basically which gave all birth to this about a year ago. And if the court agreed with CNIL and its asserted authority to regulate Google.com, the matter would then presumably become one of basically international diplomacy. So it's a huge deal. Armando, did you want to add to this?
Yeah, in this case, I think it's really Google versus the state in essence, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot, and I'm not talking about the United States, but just the state as an entity, and
Hmm.
the whole aspect of the right to be forgotten. So I'll be interested to find out how this plays out in the coming months, because from my understanding, the French privacy regulator, or France's privacy regulator, CNIL, they're really pushing forward to this. And as Mali has also indicated, it's not just France and Europe, but there's also other countries that are pressuring Google to take this into consideration, and to really expand the right to be forgotten, um, um, I guess, rules and so on. So let's see what happens. But thank you for that, and then probably it should hopefully shouldn't have an effect on our ICs doing business in Europe, but something that to keep an eye on as well,
Hmm.
because it is part of uh, that importance to move forward. Okay, so thank you, Amalia. The next thing that I wanted to share with you is something very interesting that was actually on on the on the search engine land. An interesting article. It's a little bit of a long article, but I kind of wanted to take this time to perhaps give our ICs a bit of a refresher on some of the things that have been happening with Google. Most importantly, Google's local search display. As you know, in early August, we had the whole 7 pack versus, or 7 pack to 3 pack conversion, and that was one of the things that was updated in August. That and it didn't necessarily have a change in local search ranking factors, but rather a change in the way local business information is displayed on the search engine results page, right? On the SERPs, right? So apart from that, apart from the local search pack that has kind of changed, and I'll show, I think I have a slide on it. There's also other things that have changed that you have to take into consideration from an SEO perspective, and also even from an search engine marketing perspective. Number one, like I said, the local search pack in the SERPs now shows 3 listings instead of 7. That was very a big change, a big change for Google. The number of, however, you also have to keep in mind that even though the local search pack went from 7 to 3, the number of organic results remain unchanged at 10. So once you go through, in your search engine results page, once you see the top level ads, right, the ads from Google AdWords, then you see your 3 pack, and then you see your 10 organic search results. So that hasn't changed. However, with the reduction of the local search results from 7 to 3, many companies will need to increase local ad spend to keep consistent traffic. Definitely very true. Now that ads may be taking up increasing space above the fold, especially on mobile. This was another change that has also pretty much that will potentially affect, or has affected already, businesses who are doing mobile advertising, right? Because when you're looking at your mobile, if you are looking at the search results pages on a mobile, you'll notice that sometimes you have your top three search results are actually Google ads, which pushes everything down. Hence, you really have to scroll down to start getting to the mobile organic search results, right? And you know what? As we know, people on the go may not scroll down on the search engine. So again, it gives precedence, a bit of prioritization to companies or businesses that are advertising on Google AdWords. So this is what they're talking about, that you may have to spend more money to keep consistent traffic coming to your website. The next thing is that in some cases, a large map has been added to the local search repack, taking up a lot of valuable space above the fold. Okay, and I think I have here we go. Um, so let me just kind of go back quickly. So in the past, apart from your, having above this area, you usually have your Google ad. So this is page one of a search engine results page before, and again, this is page one of a search engine results page now. So before you still have your ads above your 7 pack, right? Just like you have them today. But now, for example, after your 7 pack, now you only have a 3 pack, and you have this, and you have the map. And you can kind of see that all the time, specifically for a specific targeted keyword. So one keyword phrase results, right? Where you have, it actually shows the map. Now this is also what the author is saying of the article, is that definitely has taken valuable space, right? Where now, it just pushes above the fold, keeps pushing the organic results downwards. The other thing is desktop and mobile results are now in the same format. Okay, so whether you're viewing google.com and the search results pages on a desktop or a mobile, you probably get them to be very similar to this, right? Now, right now, as I know, the map is not necessarily showing on the mobiles for the most part. It's only showing the ads and then the three pack, right? But you never know, that could change. But for the most part, that's happened. The other thing that you have to look at is that for many local search results, address and phone numbers have been removed. Okay. In addition, photos have been removed from many searches, which used to happen before. Review stars are not displayed for most branded searches, and the actual search display varies greatly depending on business type. So there's a lot of things that are happening right now with Google. So what they're trying to mention here is that, for example, now in the search results, in the local search results, um, you don't see a telephone number, which you had before. You had a telephone number, you had an address. You do get to see the reviews, which are important, and I'm going to talk about it in the next few slides about the importance of Google reviews, etc. But again, yeah, it's not as friendly as it used to be. Mind you, this could be something that Google will be changing over time, I would imagine, as the new three pack takes rolls out, and people begin to really learn how to use it, or get used to it, get accustomed to the use of it. But you know what? It definitely has changed a lot, and it's something that we as marketers have to, digital marketers have to keep an eye on as we kind of develop new strategies to help our clients. Okay, so those are some of the things that he talked about in regards to the eight changes to the local search results. Now, moving forward, what else has happened? So apart from what I just mentioned, for right now, Google currently is beta testing a new local ad format, which we talked about it in this webinar a few weeks back regarding home services, right? Home service providers. Now, these are, as you can see in this screenshot here, another change that has happened is in some cases, for the local display, you're seeing sponsored links in this manner here, where you have specifically for plumbers, locksmiths, housekeepers, and handymen. Right now, this is being tested in San Francisco, most likely to expand in other locations. But you can now see that again, this is ad space, right? Sponsored ad space and more ad space, pushing organic further down. Now, if you're adding this on top of any three pack results that may be showing, again, you know, where does that live organic, right? So it's one of those things that we have to keep in mind, and definitely we have to be able to have somewhat of answers to our for our clients. Now, what are the implications for searches in local businesses? Uh, the author in this case, again, is his biased opinion. He talks about the fact that local businesses will need to invest in paid advertising to maintain the previous level of visibility in local search results. Something that we've always spoken about here at ALM is that sometimes the best way to have a let's say comprehensive strategy is to have both organic and paid search. So don't just focus on organic search engine results. Also put a little bit of money on PPC, because that definitely helps, right? With these changes that are happening now, it's most likely that that will be required. So having a small budget for PPC will be something that will become more and more important. The other thing is, as more searchers click on local ads, and as more local businesses invest in PPC advertising, competition and click costs will likely increase. Again, this is an assumption, but it's logical, right? Due to competition. The third thing is, the new home service ads might remove the local search pack or push it below the fold for certain business types. So that's what I was referring to. If Google does decide to implement this across the board, not just to these limited verticals of plumbers, locksmiths, housekeepers, and handymen, then we may end up seeing these ads, sponsor ads. Then on top of that, you'll have your three-pack results, therefore pushing your organic even further down. Again, I don't want to sound too negative, but after reading this article, it sheds some light to how to, we have to have a strategy and take every client differently to make sure that locally they're being optimized. Number four, local businesses previously listed in positions 4 to 7 will likely see a drop in website traffic. Again, something to be debatable because I will talk a little bit about that in a few other articles and news items. Customers looking for phone numbers will have to look harder. This may increase click-through to the business website in some instances. So here, it's actually good because definitely will drive more traffic to your website, right? They won't necessarily just click from the Google search engine results page. They'll just right away go to your website and get your click. We'll see how that pans out. And number seven is ranking in the top three in local search results is more important than ever. Again, very important to make sure that there is a strategy in place to be part of that three pack. However, I also want to mention that this is one author's point of view. I'll talk about different authors' point of view where they talk about the importance of three pack as well. The new display format will likely reduce phone calls now that the number is hitting in many desktop results, as well as traffic to many businesses' Google local listings and websites. Why? Because they're only showing the three pack, and if you're 4 to 7, it's not going to show. So local businesses will likely have to spend more money on ads to receive the same visibility in Google. And again, the new home service ads are an interesting development that could help prevent potential customers from hiring unlicensed or disreputable companies. However, if they end up replacing map packs, this could greatly impact businesses who have not opted into this ad format. This is something that may be coming down the pipe. This is something that we have to look into the next few months on how this pans out with Google. But definitely, this summer, a lot of changes with the new local search display that you should be up to speed and be aware of, and keep an eye on for where your clients are ranking or where they're being placed and getting that exposure on Google search engine result pages. Okay, so that's one of the things that I wanted to share with you. Another article that I found very, very good, very educational, not only for us as SEOs, but also something that you can share with your clients. This was an article by Neil Patel. He actually published it on Search Engine Land. But as you know, Neil Patel is a great, always has some really good content coming out of his own blog, or either used to do a lot on QuickSprout, or now with Neil Patel's blog. But this was actually very good in regards to WordPress sites and some of the misconceptions that happen. What you need to know about SEO and WordPress. Although WordPress can be a great choice for your new website, it is not search engine optimized right out of the box. Now at ALM, we're very pro WordPress because it is a very SEO friendly CMS, content management system. Okay. However, we do agree with what Neil Patel is going to share with us in regards to the fact that WordPress is not an SEO silver bullet. It's not an automatic SEO solution. The platform itself is very SEO friendly. It has been built with SEO friendliness in mind. However, you still have to do work on it, right? So when you're looking from a technical perspective, the out of the box, WordPress has the potential to be slow, right? Load time is significant. Search is a search factor that we've discussed many, many times in these webinars. And because WordPress does not automatically provide caching, users must install their own caching functionality. Plugins like WP Super Cache and W3 Total Cache allow for faster site loading. So one key piece of advice to the ICs in this call is that when you're always submitting a project to any production team, make sure that you ask them about this. What are they doing in regards to fast load times? Because out of the box, again, WordPress is not, by nature, fast. So maybe perhaps ask them if they can add a plugin such as WP Super or W3 Total Cache, and ask them for their feedback in regards to that. At ALM, we're trying to standardize the number of plugins that we put into that we launch with WordPress. But again, sometimes you know what, things can change. So just make sure that you just touch base on that. And the reason being is because there's so many caching plugins out there, right? I mean, Neil Patel talks about these two plugins that are open source, and again, they're made by a third-party company or third-party programmers, right? Another key thing to keep in mind from a technical perspective, WordPress default permalink settings are not optimized either. You'll want to adjust your permalink structure in order to make your site's URL search friendly. Again, very key. From our perspective, I can tell you that ALM does try to keep the permalink structure very SEO friendly. But if you are using a different supplier or a different programmer, just make sure that you know that the permalink is SEO friendly and not follows kind of like a dynamic setting where you have example.com /? P equals n. That's not SEO friendly. You want to make sure that that you go for something that is human readable and therefore more search friendly. So it should be, for example, if you're looking at about us, it shouldn't be example.com / P equals n1. It should be example.com / about -us or about us, whatever works better, right? So you want to make sure that the permalink settings are set up properly. By default, WordPress creates external links by opening them in the same window. If a user opens a link on your page, they navigate off your page and onto a new page or website. In other words, you may have lost a reader, user, or customer. So make sure that when you're doing external links or your clients doing external links, they're done within the same window, right? So that's very important. Finally, WordPress does not automatically create XML sitemaps. Creating a sitemap is an integral part of optimizing for search. Again, our team typically either adds the XML sitemap in the robot.txt files via the FTP, or we may use a plugin. But however, out of the box, bare bones, WordPress does not have that. So if you're using a third-party programmer or a supplier that may not add an XML sitemap plugin, make sure that you address that also with them. It's very important. Okay, so as you can see, out of the box, it's not really an SEO solution. So that's number one. Another key thing about WordPress is that the theme. This is very critical. Just because a theme says it's search optimized does not mean it is. And these are some of the things that you have to keep in mind. It's specifically if you are looking at buying or purchasing a templated WordPress themes. And we do get these requests a lot from ICs from time to time. And it's very important that when you're looking at themes and WordPress themes that you watch out or you keep in mind these next 5 things. Number one, speed. As we mentioned before, speed is critical for factor for search success. So definitely you want to make sure that you find a quick loading time theme. What happens is when you purchase a theme, it definitely what the programmers have in their hands is something that already came with it. So in order to make that theme optimized, it does take programming hours to optimize that. So to avoid having extra cost for programming to make your website faster, make sure that the theme that you purchase is has a good fast speed, has a good loading time, right? Number two, lightweight code. Another thing that I found with some of the themes that are being sold out there through the different websites that actually where you can purchase themes is that some of these themes are actually created by amateur programmers and they upload them to get sold. But the problem is they have a lot of what they call bloated code. Extraneous coding or coding mistakes can slow a site down and reduce its SEO capabilities. If you provide a supplier or a production team with a purchased theme, it they actually will take the theme and build upon it as is. It is not their responsibility to make it faster because whatever code has been provided to them, it's what they will work on. So you got to make sure that you find a trusted theme with a streamlined code, or even make sure that you're not going for free themes, but more of a paid theme or template. Okay. HTML5, most new themes are developed in HTML5, which is best for SEO. Some themes feature multiple H1 tags on the page, which is not recommended. So again, make sure from a technical perspective that you review that. Responsive, you want to make sure that the theme that you purchase, and that the overall website, whether it's theme or custom, you want to make sure that it is responsive. Definitely very important. And the next thing is that from a schema markup, you want to make sure that it's best to use a theme that supports schema input. So whether it's a purchase theme or something from a custom design, you want to make sure that you have the ability to add schema to it. Again, there's various ways, various different types of schema optimization or schema marker optimization. The best way is to connect with your SEO team to make sure which ones are required, because sometimes, you know what, there's e-commerce markups that you wouldn't use for a standard non-e-commerce website. So it's not about having all of the markups, schema markups that exist, is having the proper one, the local schema markups. So definitely touch base with your production team regarding that. The other key thing is an SEO plugin does not optimize the site. Okay, so this is something also educational. I've had this question before where the client thinks that by having a Yoast or all-in-one pack SEO plugin, all of a sudden the site's going to be optimized. Well, no, the plugin basically is just a tool. It allows you to more easily modify, customize, or enhance some aspect of your site. With a plugin, you don't have to access code files or possess development knowledge, because basically you can add all of your meta or all of your SEO on-page work via the plugin, at least for the most part. You simply need to tell the plugin what to do. If you're not using a plugin specifically with WordPress, you actually do need a plugin, because WordPress is database driven, and you can't really access the site files page by page. Like, let's say if you had an HTML site, you definitely need to have the proper plugin. Now, in this case, Neil Patel, he loves Yoast, so in the article, he'll continue to talk to you about Yoast. We definitely use Yoast or all-in-one pack. So, whatever your preference is, we can install it. But just to make sure that if that conversation never comes up with your client, it's really about educating them and letting them know that an SEO plugin doesn't necessarily solve all the SEO issues. It's just a tool that facilitates the proper implementation of SEO practices on page optimization. Okay, so I thought that I would share that interesting article with you as well. Okay, moving along, he talks about the most key crucial thing here is that you have to optimize your WordPress site just as if you were optimizing any other site. Create content. So definitely put content on every page of your site. Make sure it's not thin content, but it's really I don't want to say heavy content, no, but I want to say very structured, relevant content, rich content on every website page, right? Then he talks about creating more content. So you know what? That goes through our adaptive SEO methodology. You want to have a content marketing strategy where you are doing new pages, perhaps blog articles, videos, guides, tutorials, ebooks. So you want to create high quality content as recently we can. In his experience, he talks about that his preference is long-term content. So articles or pages that exceed 1,000 words packs the most SEO power. It does definitely pack the most SEO power, but from a conversion rate optimization, it may be a little bit too long. The best way to determine that is for you to test it out or to break down those pieces of content into multiple sections. So you have section 1, section 2, etc. But definitely content is very key. Learn as much about SEO as you possibly can. Obviously, that's very important. And another key thing, very, very, very important, is do not install lots of plugins, because plugins slow things down. And sometimes when you run any website through let's say, for example, the Google page speed test, or even some of the other third-party tools. I mean, we use a couple of them, the GT metrics. And even though it's a WordPress site, we notice that all of a sudden that site, even though it's WordPress, it's very, very slow. And the reason is because there's a lot of plugins that are activated once you get to the home page, right? So there's a plugin, for example, for Slider. There's a plugin for Twitter. There's a plugin for a map. So the key thing here is you want to make sure that you stay away from installing lots of plugins. only install the required plugins. If you're not using a plugin, don't even activate it. Remove it if possible, as long as it's not conflicting with another plugin. But you want to make sure that you're only using the plugins that are required, because I have seen some sites that we have inherited where they have about 25 plugins working away, and that may be helpful to the development team or the website administrator. However, it slows things down. So stay away from lots of plugins. Excellent. The other key thing quickly, as we're now kind of going into the last 15 minutes of our webinar, is talking about this recent study conducted by a company called Blue Nile Research Study, where they actually did a study regarding the effectiveness of rich snippets and rich snippets, markup snippets, etc. And they actually realized that position 1 in search may get fewer clicks than position 2 with rich snippets. So let me clarify this. So what they're saying is that if you have a position 1 in any Google search results without any rich snippets, and you compare it to a position 2 that has rich snippets, position 2 will get higher clicks. Okay, so I want to kind of clarify what the study is all about. Rich snippets often are enabled by adding structure and markup to your code, which we just discussed. And what you can actually do with that is actually have stars, images. So the stars come by reviews, images, videos, and so forth. And you're able to showcase this on Google and Bing, right? So the rich snippets are actually part of a code snippet, right, that's added to the website. And what it does is the richer user experience often leads to searches paying more attention to the search results with the rich snippets versus the basic snippets. Now I'm going to give you an example in a few seconds. And in this case, Blue Nile's research claims that rich snippets in position 2 will have a 61% click capture rate, whereas no rich snippets in position 1 will have a 48% click share. This is compared to no rich snippets in position 2, which will result in only a 35% click share. So there is a 26% increase in the percentage of clicks that result from having rich snippets. So let me just kind of, I think I have here's where they actually went through the study. And I'm going to give you, well, here's also the link at the bottom for the study, but here's what they actually recorded based on the percentage of clicks. So position number 2 with rich media would get 61% clicks than everybody else. Position number 1 with non-rich media would get 48. And then position number 2 with non-rich media would only get 35% of all of the click-through. So let me explain to you what that means. In this case scenario, the study, what they were looking at was sneakers. And if you can look at my webs at the screen here, you'll notice that position number 1, right here, this one in specific was actually as low as 9%. So only 9% of the clicks actually clicked on number 1. 76% of this one clicked on number 2. The reason being is, as you can see, it has all of the search snippets. This is your most basic search result, right? A title, URL, and description. In this case, you have a little bit more: title, URL, and actually this is actually a description plus reviews and Google in the Google local ping, right? So as you can see in this case scenario, this one received 76% higher than the other ones. So this is what they're trying to kind of show, that if you have if you have rich media snippets in your website and it's displaying them properly, right, you'll most likely get more clicks than anybody who's above, right? So even though you may be number 1 in the search results, but you don't have rich media snippets, you're not going to get as many clicks. Okay, so that was what the study talked about. And it is something that you should keep in mind. Again, some of these markups are customized, and you have to definitely touch base with the production team to make sure that you're adding the proper ones. But the most key thing, as anybody will tell you, is really reviews. You want to make sure that you have that rich snippet for Google reviews on your strategy as well. Okay, so I wanted to share with that. And the best way to kind of add these things to your website is to touch base with your production team to make sure they add the right ones. Okay. Excellent. So we talked a little bit about the Google three-pack shakeup, and everybody's still trying to find out what's the best way to adjust to the local SEO. Is it is this going to really affect my client? Is it going to get he's going to get less clicks and so on? So Google's decision to show fewer listings seems to be motivated by mobile. Obviously, three-pack search map, three-pack search results make desktop search mirror those on mobile with more space for map results and reviews but less contenders for top rankings because it's pushing all of the organic results down. Okay. However, search results are becoming more and more hyper localized, meaning that the three pack changes pretty often. Okay. So again, there is an opinion that the top 20 sites listed in the map view seems to be unaffected by the upgrade. So what that means is that even though it's showing three results on the three pack shakeup, they're saying that people are still now clicking on the more section as well. So this is still something that there's not enough evidence or data to show this, but people are saying that SEOs are saying that for the most part, this shouldn't affect as much as we think it should, because people will adapt to the new way and start clicking. For example, one of the examples is to the more section where it will display more local search results. Okay, so number one thing they talk about is don't panic. If you were number 4 before the update, obviously before the update, if you were number 4, now you wouldn't show up, right? So if you were number 4 before the update, chances are your traffic hasn't been affected much. Okay, this is according to the president of local SEO guide, Andrew Shortland. His point of view in this case is, while there certainly will be a loss in visibility and phone calls from those businesses that were in positions 4 through 7 in the previous local packs, the truth is those listings weren't generating much activity anyhow, meaning that in the past, if you were part of the 7 pack, you were most likely getting you were getting visibility, but you weren't that didn't equate to more clicks if you were in 4 spot or from 4 to 7, right? So that's one of the key things that he talks about. You probably were getting visibility, but maybe not a lot of activity. It is likely that this is one of the reasons why Google removed them. So his recommendation is, in the near term, SEO consultants are going to have a challenge in explaining to the client who used to rank number 4 in a local pack why it's not a big deal that they are not on page 1 anymore, when last week they were touting how awesome it was to be ranked number 4. So you got to be careful to how you position the Google rankings. If you notice the ALM reports, for example, we always have Google organic results, and we also have the Google local results, right? The Google Maps results, because we want to make sure that we are being transparent with the client, and sometimes those results will differ. The key thing here that he talks about also is that reviews matter. Google has removed phone numbers and exact addresses from search results, but star reviews remain. So let me go back. If you notice in this case scenario, okay, sorry, just getting a question there. But if you notice in this case scenario again, there's no telephone number, right? And there used to be a telephone number, as I've shared previously in a few slides before. So, however, reviews are very crucial, right? So definitely, you want to make sure that you work with your client to establish a process for reviews. Specifically, again, where are these reviews being hosted? Well, most likely they're probably going to be hosted within Google My Business, right? So businesses hoping to crack the top 3 and see traffic from the ranking need to make sure they got a high volume of good reviews, not just reviews, but actually good reviews. So again, reviews continue to matter now on local optimization. Um, I'm not technical enough right now to provide my feedback in regards to third-party reviews. I'm gonna have Amalia look into that in regards to customer lobby or reputation.com. How do those reviews affect the SEO? Definitely will kind of touch base with you on that. Perhaps even at our next webinar. But again, the key thing is you want to make sure that you have good reviews, and primarily you are looking at My Google Business, right? Because that's where Google wants you to put your reviews, right? As much as we want to not perhaps drive people to do it there, to add their reviews there, because they never do it. This is something that needs to happen. Number three, another very good recommendation: specialization. Specialize to make sure you're turning up in relevant local searches above your competitors. You should make search terms as specific as possible. So perhaps you've been bumped off page number one because you haven't made the top three. Uh, you know, uh, uh, Perhaps for a very exact keyword. Well, you know what? In his example, you want to make sure that you're dominating a specific niche. So try to rank for emergency dentist rather than just the keyword dentist alone, or for kitchen remodeling rather than just remodeling. So make sure that you're using two, or I would even recommend two, three long tail keyword searches. Try to dominate a niche market, because everybody's going to try to compete for the number one for one keyword phrase results, or keyword phrase terms, right? So you want to make sure that you diversify and you don't just focus on one. You want to focus on multiple, two to three keyword phrases, right? That's what you should be doing. The next thing that he talks about in this case, in this scenario, is you want to double down on link earning. Again, link earning. We're not talking about just going out there and buying backlinks. We're talking about link earning. And what you want to do in this case is, you want to start with by joining local chamber of commerce, joining an industry or professional organization that is reputable, that has a lot of weight online, and maybe even get perhaps even getting accredited by the Better Business Bureau. So there's an infinite number of other good links you can get, but these are some of the solid starts. You want to make sure that you have local citations. So really, it's about local. If your client's business is hyper local or definitely local, you want to make sure that you're putting a lot of efforts on link earning, and that link earning goes beyond the production team's responsibility. There also should be a strategy where you're working with your client to seeing how you can go out there and earn some additional links, right? So that's something that we also recommend, because the client may be able to team up with a local with the brand that he distributes products for, etc. Maybe even with the local municipality, chamber of commerce, for example, as mentioned, get involved locally in different social activities, and as in lieu of getting some nice link earning from good sites locally. So again, there's a whole strategy you should have for doubling down on link earning. And number five, this is another thing, is that you want to make sure that your local efforts fit into an overall strategy. So according to Mike Blumenthal, who's a local expert at Blumenthal's, he talks about the fact that you want to have, in order to have a strong results locally, you want to have a few things. Number one, a strong website, okay, with a strong local presence and a strong locally focused marketing campaign. So not this will not only provide you with more visibility and branding, but then also that it also takes away the fact that it puts a lot of pressure on focusing just on local search results. You want to make sure that that your brand gets exposed locally, not just online, but also offline, right? So any traditional marketing that supplements or complements, sorry, your SEO strategy is very key. Okay, but in order to have a strong local presence, you want to do that. So he talks about, if you follow this tactic consistently, you will have the best ongoing position to deal with the constant changes. So you want to have a more of an integrated local strategy, not just relying on local rankings alone. So this actually was an article that was being published in a few publications, including ClickZ. Excellent. Um, okay, this kind of finalizes our webinar today. Just kind of wanted to share a little bit more about ALM. I'm not, I kind of have a few questions. One of the questions that I had was in regards to Google reviews, the importance of Google Plus reviews, and what needs to happen, or is that the most important thing that needs to be taken a look at? So definitely, Mark, that's a great question. I will definitely touch base with the team in regards to this to see what they can recommend to make sure that we provide you with the right answer. But you know what? For now, what I would recommend is try to connect with your client Try to educate your client to focus on uh, 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 getting their end client, the end customer, in providing positive, good reviews on My Google Business, because that's what's being, right now dominating in Google. But I will definitely confirm with you in regards to that answer. Again, thank you very much for joining us today. Definitely, like I mentioned, next week we will have a special guest. If you have any questions, feel free to email myself, Amalia, or even Michelle. Michelle will be soon joining us in our webinars. I know that many of you met Michelle at Global Convention, and she'll be joining us in our webinars very shortly. But feel free to connect with us. Don't forget to rate us in K2. Amalia, any word on the promotions that we have?
No, just other than what we've been throwing for this month, basically we're offering the setup for local SEO and the basic ASEO, the setup for free. So definitely contact myself or Armando or Michelle if you do have any questions. We'd be more than happy to help you. So once again, any SEO or ASEO setup, we are basically including that. So yeah,
Oh, yeah. And
yeah,
the other thing, just to finalize, thank you, Amalia. You just reminded me that the video that was showcased at Global Convention,
yes.
it is now customizable, and you can definitely reach out to Amalia, myself, or Michelle to get for the pricing. And actually, the only customization is only at the end, towards the end, the final slide, if you will, or the final shots. So you can customize it with your IC information, so it can be personalized. So reach out to us. But that's one more thing. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad that this webinar has been very helpful. We try our best, and we look forward to another exciting webinar next week. Again, we're going to have a guest speaker. You'll probably hear from Michelle, myself, or Amalia, trying to get you to join us, and we'll definitely have a good, exciting uh, um, webinar again next week. Again, thank you very much. Have yourself a great, wonderful week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.